there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at Ghost Adventures from the Spinboard series by Buzzy Games and BlackRock Games.
And Buzzy Games, BlackRock Games were kind enough to give us this copy for review, and we are going to review that in this video. Ghost Adventure is a game in which you spin a top, which I know sounds like a toy, but this is a board game. You spin a top which represents your mouse character. This is a cooperative game. All players are working together to guide this top through a series of obstacles. And that's what you are having on your board are these obstacles. You want to guide the top through the obstacles to get to the goal working together as a team. It'll make more sense when I show it to you in the rules overview portion of the video. So let's get down below. I can show that to you, and then we'll come back, share our thoughts on this as far as what a gamer and a non-gamer thinks of Ghost Adventure. All right, I have Ghost Adventure on the table here. Let me show you how this game works, in which you are going to be spinning a top that represents a mouse, a ghost mouse at that, who is trying to warn the people of the countryside of the impending doom of these guys right here. You can see them in the background. They're coming to destroy the land. And so you have to help the mouse by getting him to all the different places that he needs to go to complete his adventure. You can see the colorful boards here. They are vibrant and beautiful, quite honestly. There's a lot going on here that the rulebook does a good job of explaining everything. And you got even some nefarious looking creatures on these maps. And so in more detail how this game works, players are going to have a number of lives that are represented by these potions here, which are basically redos. You get to flip one over to spin your top again as soon as your top stops spinning or falls off a board. And each player in the game is going to hold one of these boards depending on which adventure you are doing. And so you've got two different tops here to pick from. You've got your standard top that you know everybody knows about, and then you have your Beyblade type of top in which you pull the ripcord here and it's going to spin on the map. And you're going to start in these rune spaces that are on all of the different boards. And that is where you have to start whenever you play that particular board. These boards are double-sided, by the way. Let me show you the back side of a board real quick to give you an idea of what that might look like. And these boards are dualed, even maybe triple layered, as you can see that there are 3 different layers on this particular board. And what players are trying to do, they are going to, again, start on the rune space, and they might have to travel to certain items or icons, such as maybe this guy right here who's in the boat, to visit him, and then come off the board right here where you can see that arrow. And when you come off a board, you're going to hold one board above another board like so, and it will have to slide off of the top board onto the bottom board right on the rune space that I've showed you before. And so if you are wanting to go up different layers, such as on this board here, if you're wanting to go up to where this penguin is, you are going to have to reach a jump space, and that is what that is right there. And when you get to a jump space, or actually, honestly, that's the jump space. When you get to a jump space, you are then going to kind of fling the top up in the air, just like so, like I just did. I'm going to hold this out further so you can see it again. You're going to fling it up, and the top will actually come off the board, and hopefully if you do this right, it will land on top of that layer that you need it to go, because you can only go up layers by doing that, by flinging the top up when you get to a jump space. You can go down layers as freely as you want, but you cannot go from a lower layer to a top layer unless you are on one of those jump spaces. Now, that icon that I showed you earlier is the icon that you would go to if you want to go from one board to another board. And so you have to do this in which the two icons are lined up. And you would fling the top off of one board onto another board, and then you could complete your journey on that board. Now that is some complex, higher level difficulty in this game. That is not the basic game version of this game and how it starts off. That is getting up into the higher ranks in this. Now the different adventure books that you have. You've got 2 different books here in this game. And in this first one that I'm going to show you, this is just going to show you some one-off missions that you can do. It'll show you the different boards that you need and the different spots that you need to go to on each of these boards. And again, that's just to do one mission at a time. There's not really any continuity between the different missions. They do get progressively more difficult as you go along. Sometimes having you go up to 3 different locations on one board. But the main adventure book here is going to be this one right here, and it's going to look a lot like a comic book, although there's not any words in this comic book here. It is all just pictures, and it shows you that the oncoming army here is coming to invade the land and to destroy the different shrines, I suppose, releasing these ghosts, and the ghost mouse is escaping to go tell the people of what's coming. And so you can see that the ghost is going to have to adventure through these different lands, reaching these different icons. In order to move on, you have to complete the first mission, the second mission, the third, so on and so forth, to be able to progress your way through this beautiful comic book. Excellent artwork in this game. And that's how this game works. You do get a little tuck box here to keep your tops in, and everything stows away very nicely in this game. That is how you play Ghost Adventures. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one.
And we're back. And now we're going to share our thoughts on Ghost Adventures and what a gamer and non-gamer thinks of this game. So Sam, first initial impressions of Ghost Adventure, what did you think?
I mean, it really does seem like a toy and not a game. And I don't think that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it just is. It's very much toy-like. You are playing and moving and spinning. So it doesn't necessarily feel like a game, which could be a really good thing for non-gamers or someone that says, I don't want to play board games. They don't want to spin and move. This is very different. So I think it could be a benefit for non-gamers for sure.
Yeah, talk about unique.
Yeah.
This game is very unique. I don't know that I've ever had quite the same components or same idea as I've ever seen with a game like this. Or experience. This is a very unique experience when you talk about cooperative gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been games out there in the past where you really had to work together as a team in order to do well, but none more so than in this game when you are physically working together to hand off the top between one board to the next board and trying to, encourage each other to go along in this game. It takes dexterity gaming to a whole new level with Ghost Adventure. Sam, talk about that for your perspective as a non-gamer when it comes to this kind of cooperative gaming.
I mean, it's different. It wasn't too difficult. I mean, we did. It says 8 to 99. We were able to play with our 7-year-old. She needed some assistance, but for the most part, she understood the idea. So I think you could lower the age count depending on the, gross and fine motor skills of your child. But it definitely took some, concentration.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned that this is a different type of gaming experience, that it's not like you're, controlling different, it's not like a worker placement game or a game in which you're trying to, manage resources or anything like that. This is strictly dexterity, but it's not like stacking blocks or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is, you are physically manipulating the board and trying to control what happens in a physical sense of the gaming. So it's a definitely different gaming experience altogether.
And they've put a lot of thought into it, the zigzags and the holes you can fall into, but it's not so difficult that you're losing every single time. I mean, there's a lot of thought put into the development of the boards.
This is one of the most creative games I think I've ever come across. Definitely takes the idea of what a board game can be like and takes it to a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah.
So really creative, just awesome ideas put into this game. Now, I will say this game can be very challenging. Sam and the kids and I, we primarily did the single episodes. I mentioned in the rules overview portion that you have the
comic book that you work yourself through that has an adventure that you are trying to get to the end of. That can be extremely challenging. Just, after 2, 3, 4 missions into it, it can become very, very challenging. So we primarily focused more on the one-off missions, and there are a good number of those. I don't remember exactly right off the top of my head, but those come in differing degrees of difficulty. And so there are enough in there that are of an easier difficulty that you can do with your family, with your kids, and get a really good experience out of this. And if you are wanting an increase in difficulty there are a number of the very difficult ones that I'm referring to that you will find very challenging and very fun too. So on that, let's talk about fun factor here with this game. Sam, just how fun was this gaming experience to you?
It's a lot of fun. It's a little frustrating, when you're trying to get everything done, but for the most part, it's a very enjoyable game, especially to play with younger kids.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well, that this is one that, as we keep saying, it has a team factor into it. And when you can have that experience, especially with your kids or just someone that you're close to, that can be a very enjoyable, rememberable experience, or at least it was for us, I feel like. So yeah, this a lot of fun with this. So Sam, let's get into our pros and cons here with Ghost Adventure. You as a non-gamer, what were the pros that you had with this game?
It's fun, it's unique, definitely easy to understand. You can explain this game very quickly. You do have to have some dexterity. I feel like there's a lot of pros. It could be cons and vice versa. If you're wanting to sit down and play a board game, this isn't it. You're not sitting. It's not the typical classical board game, which could be a con for some gamers that just want to play a board game. They may see this as a little childish, even though it has some difficulty to it.
Yeah.
And vice versa for a gamer or a non-gamer, this could be a huge pro. They don't want to just sit down and play a board game, something unique to maybe transition into different board games.
Yeah, and you kind of got into the cons there, and that was one thing that I was thinking too when it comes to this game. And it's not really a con, but it's more so...
Just depends on what you're expecting.
What's your ultimate end goal when it comes to gaming? Are you wanting to have that traditional, I'm really going to burn my brain here, or even just a social kind of experience? You won't necessarily have that so much in this kind of a game, because this is more of a when I say physical, I don't mean like exercise, but this is more of a physical kind of game in which you are up and moving and doing things. And so it's not your traditional board gaming experience. And if you have that in mind, then you will probably enjoy this. But if you're more so thinking, I'm going to break this out where we all typically sit down and we really, fight it out with our minds when it comes to board gaming, then this isn't going to be that kind of experience for you. So something to just keep in mind whenever you're playing this game. Scale of 1 to 10, love to hate. What do you give Ghost Adventure?
I'd probably give it a 7.5.
Okay, 7.5, solid. I am probably right there with you. In my mind, I was thinking 7.4. So it seems like we're right on the same page when it comes to this game and kind of the experience that we had with it. So 7.5, 7.4. That is Ghost Adventure, Buzzy Games, BlackRock Games. Go check it out.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.